Welcome to the Own Your Choices, Own Your Life podcast. I am your host, Marsha Van Weinsberg. I'm a business coach, speaker, and author of the best-selling book, When She Stopped Asking Why. On this podcast, we will use the tips, tools, and strategies used by myself and our speakers to break through and overcome the challenges in our lives. When we take radical responsibility of our choices, create boundaries, grow our courage, and practice self-care and letting go of what isn't ours to control, we can completely change our stories. When we take full ownership of our stories, we take back our personal power, and this allows us to impact, serve, and support others by showing them that they are not alone and helping them find freedom from their stories. When you own your choices, you truly own your life. Let's dive in. Welcome back to the show. Today is the first day we are officially on YouTube. So I would love it if you would go and follow, subscribe, and just tune in because we're going to be sharing just so much incredible content over there. Okay. So today, 3 things to consider the real ROI cost. You might be going, but Marsha, this is not a business podcast. I don't understand. It's always got business infused into it because that's literally who I am. But I really wanted to share this with you because I had a massive shift last week. Thank you to one of my multiple mentors that I have. Yes, I said multiple. Grateful every day. Plus, I surround myself with women who are in business, who are doing nothing but pouring into me or helping me to shift something I'm stuck on. And this topic came up and it just became like this big light bulb moment for me that I knew I wanted to share. So I want to talk to you about some thoughts on ROI, or your return on investment, and how we are making investments in ourselves and in our businesses constantly. Like in this online space, especially if you're like me, I was thrown into it full time in the pandemic in 2020. And it was like, okay, I've got to figure out all the things. So I literally signed up for everything. And as I look back, it was not the most efficient way to do things, but it was the state of the world that we were in at that time. So I want you to think about is right now, as we're always making these investments in ourselves, this is one question that comes up a lot is what is the ROI? Okay, I invested $1,000. When do I make that back? When do I make that back? And it becomes this shooting for a specific timeline of when I make that back. So if that's your mindset, which has been mine a lot, I'm going to be so real with you. If that's your mindset, then I want you to think about things a little bit differently today. I'm going to give you some questions to maybe shift your thinking a little bit more. And especially if you are the person who judges yourself for an investment that maybe you are looking at now and going, oh, I'm not where I'm supposed to be yet. I'm not where I wanted to be yet. What a waste of money. I can't invest in something else because I spent all that other money and it didn't come back. This episode is for you. Well, it's for anyone, but you know what I mean. So when you think about it, are you investing in things to help you grow in your business? Because remember, you are always your biggest asset, always. And your income will only ever grow to the extent that you grow yourself. It's actually not possible. Like you're your business all the time. So when people say to me, well, what strategy should I invest in? And I'm like, are you solid with where you are in your business and life right now? Like yourself, your decision-making, your whatever the limiting pieces, beliefs, factors are for you. Are you in a good spot or do you need support there? No, I need strategy. And it's like, but if you're not in a good spot, there's no strategy you can apply to limiting beliefs, to doubts, to mindset. There's none. Because even if you get the success that you think that you want, I guarantee you will sabotage it because you have not grown or expanded to the level to be able to hold that new growth. So remember, you're your biggest asset. If you're making investments in yourself, that the intention is to grow yourself, to, be part of your business, to expand that business, and you're showing up and doing the work. Okay. Like anybody can go spend thousands of dollars a month on coaching, but if you're not actually showing up and doing the work, then you're right. This investment's not going to work. You have some piece to show up in it. And but if you're making an investment that is not leading to growth and your debt is increasing, then you have to ask yourself if it's actually an investment or just something you want to buy. And that's okay too. Okay. That's okay too. This is not a criticism. This is not a judgment. It's just an awareness that I really want you to look at. When you look back at the investments that you've made in your business, be clear on the role that they played, right? There are going to be times that you look back and think, like, why did I buy that? Like, that is not even who I am. That coach didn't resonate at all with me. You started and it's like, no, this is not a good fit. Why did I do that? How could I be so dumb? Like, this is the language. I know that sounds really harsh, but that's the internal language that we're all spiraling through. And we have to catch that because we've got to look deeper at to what does it mean? So when you're in that space and you can look back at something that you've bought that maybe did not turn out the way you wanted it to, did not lead to where you wanted to go. Maybe you bought it for the wrong reasons. Maybe it was flashy. Maybe it was something that hit a pain point for you. What I want you to do is, instead of judging that investment and not having the ROI that you think it should, air quote, instead of judging that investment, which is really important here, because if you're judging that investment, you're judging yourself. You're actually judging your intuition and your knowledge of making a good decision in your business. So I actually would encourage you to unpack that before you move ahead to figure out what the next missing program is that you don't have. And listen, just to paraphrase here, and to set it up for context, I actually don't know what my dollar is that I've invested in my business. It would probably shock a lot of people, including myself. It's a lot. I've invested a lot in my business, and I know that I wouldn't be the person that I am today if I didn't. So back here, if you're in this space and you're looking at decisions that you made and you think, why did I do that? That was such a waste. I want you to unpack that, look at what it means, understand what you're making it mean before you make the next decision to purchase anything. Okay. Before you make that next decision. And if it was something that you can look back at, because I'd be shocked if there's anybody listening to this who doesn't have that moment where you're like, yeah, I made some bad investments that did not pan out and they actually weren't for me. So if you have one in mind, what I want you to think about is, was it really at a full loss, or did you actually learn something about yourself? Did you walk away? Did you take something from it that you learned? What do I want to say yes and no to? What actually speaks to me? What's important to me? And you really start to look at those pieces. And I know that like in the early 2020, I jumped at a lot of things. And there were mentors that I love and adore, but I didn't like the container. And so that also helped me to understand, how do I best learn? Like, what is going to challenge me? What supports me? And I started to make different decisions. Containers of 100 people, totally not for me. It's easy for me to just kind of sit back and not get involved. Containers of like 5 to 10 people, yeah, I challenge myself in those. And so I've learned that about myself. Dissect and look at what speaks to you, how you best learn. And then out of that, even out of the ones you think are failed attempts, out of that, now make a list of criteria. Make a list of criteria of who you choose to invest in and learn from. Pick that criteria and be so brutally honest, because when you do that, you start to see, like, what am I actually looking for? What do I want? Like, how do I learn best? What's going to challenge me? And don't go pick people who are exactly like you. Like, fine, don't, because that's not always going to lead you exactly where you want. Be clear on who you want to learn from. And this is actually a huge one for me that took me so long to put into place. For me, it's not just about the business results that they have. It's, do they have the business I admire? And do they have a life, the values that are in alignment with me? Because I want to learn from somebody who has great values, has relationships, has time for themselves. I don't want to learn from somebody who is like, you have to be willing to work 12 hours a day, 6 days a week in order to make it happen. No, I don't want to subscribe to that. So it's not just about the money. It's the money and the values and the person. That's actually part of my checklist now. And I had to make some not great decisions in order to come to that space of it. And then the other thing here is that when you're in this space of making these decisions, Start to build a relationship with your intuition and your gut, because there are things that I have invested in that I didn't know why, but I knew I was supposed to. So in 2020, I actually came across a NLP certification. I have heard of NLP. I thought it was like for salesmen, to be honest, like that sales people. That's how my interpretation of NLP. And the more I got curious about it, my gut kept saying, you've got to do it. This is for you. I'm like, all right, well, we'll see the course. We'll see what happens. And even as I went through, it was still an eye opener of like just a brand new language. And what happened was NLP became something that I learned to help heal myself, to ground myself, to calm my nervous system, and to support clients in that space. And not only did I take my NLP, I finished that, I graduated, and then now I'm almost done my Masters of NLP. And I'm still not done. I looked at it and went, you know what? I have had this gut pull to create a NLP certification, a trainer's NLP certification for speakers, authors, and podcasters in learning how to share their story, support themselves while they do it, and support their clients. And so one decision 2 years ago, tremendous amounts of money and investment, time, energy, personal growth, and healing. I'm not the same person I was 2 years ago. By making this decision, I have opened up so many other doors. That's the piece of it. Sometimes you want to build that trust. And I look at it and go, okay, for the amount that I've invested there, have I actually made the ROI as of date? And the answer is on dollar for dollar, no. But I know what's coming. I can see it. I can feel it. I know it. And the growth that I have experienced as a person, again, I'm not even the same person as I was 2 years ago. I'm not even the same person I was last year. So this is what makes a big difference. Really be in that space, build that checklist up so that when it comes time to make decisions, because let's be real, marketing's good. Like they're really good. I actually just love watching business and how sometimes people will market on the pain points. I actually admire the marketing on the vision and what you want to create for your life. So know your values, know what's important to you. It makes it easier to make a decision in investing in yourself or in your business. And it actually puts you in a better space of understanding this ROI, which is going to lead me to my last point here, is that take one of your investments. And I want you to think about one of your early investments. Take that investment. I want you to look at the amount that you paid. So for me, I'm going to pick an example that in 2016, I actually flew to Arizona by myself on a last minute flight because that's all I could get. And we were in a space of our family being like just in an absolute disaster time. Everything in my gut told me I had to go. And I remember telling my husband, I need to go to this retreat. I need to go. There's something that's calling me there. And I remember his face going like, how are we going to afford that? Because like, it was just a horrible time for us. And I was like, it's got to happen. I got to find, and I actually did find a way in the last 24 hours, booked that flight and packed minimal, went, slept in a hotel with people I had never met in my life, met some great friends. And that event changed my business. So here's my point. It was about $1,000 for me to go total with everything in. And if I decided that the ROI was only the $1,000 I had to make back, then I would have been done with the benefits of that investment, like probably a few months later. Instead, if I look at it and think, holy crap, like I would not be where I am today if I hadn't gone to that event. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be in this position. That event was what sparked me to write my book, which sparked me to start my podcast, run my first live event, write another collaborative book, get ready to write another solo book. None of that would have happened in the way that it unfolded if I hadn't gone. So is the ROI only about that $1,000? Not a chance. That ROI is paying back tenfold 6 years later, tenfold, hundredfold 6 years later. So the investments that I make today, if you only put it as a ROI for the exact dollar amount, you're going to be missing on the benefits that could be reaping for years to come because the investment was in yourself, which helps you grow as a person, which will change your business. So I would love to know how this lands because this was brought to me by one of my mentors last week. I love you, Ashley. And she put it in this context. And I just went, oh my God, I didn't get it. I completely was looking at it wrong. And that helped me to be in this space of creating this little checklist in my brain for when I do make investments in my business and in myself, because let's face it, you are your business at all times. You are your business. Grow yourself to grow your business. You can't grow your business without growing yourself. I don't care what you sell. I don't care what you do. It doesn't matter, because you're your business at all times. Awesome. Thank you for being here, for listening, for sharing all of the things. Welcome to the YouTube channel. We are here now. And I want to also share, please subscribe on YouTube and share it with a friend if you know that this will land with someone. And secondly, if you are someone who wants to learn more about NLP, you want to learn to put these 6 modalities into practice, become board certified, and in a space where you work in a container with me, very tight container, over a span of 4+ months. We start in early 2023. I invite you to join the waitlist. The link is in the show notes. It will be your opportunity to save $1,000 from the top, extended payment plans, bonuses. And I say bonuses, like I cannot wait to share what's happening with these bonuses. So if it speaks to you, there's no obligation. Join the waitlist. You will have a chance to be able to access all of that very, very shortly. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your shares, everything that you do. I'm so forever grateful for you. Have an incredible day. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Own Your Choices, Own Your Life podcast. If you loved this episode, please submit a rating and review on iTunes, and please share it with someone you think could benefit from hearing this message or this podcast. I love connecting and meeting you, so please screenshot the episode and tag me on social media or Instagram stories at Marsha Van W. And until next time, remember, when you own your choices, you truly own your life.